So welcome to anybody new who's joined us. Today we're going to be doing a sensory awareness practice. So really all of mindfulness is sensory awareness, because in order to access that little bit of calm, the way we do that is through coming back to the present moment. And the way, as we know, we get back to the present moment is through any one of our senses. And what can happen with some people when they start out practicing, or after a while, is either you get what I call kind of sensory numbness. So when you start practicing, you think, well, I can't feel anything. I can't. She's asking me to feel my feet, and I can't feel my feet, and the, sounds seem to go, and everything seems to go. And other people at the other end of the spectrum get a bit of sensory overload, and all you can focus on is that niggly pain in your knee, or that really irritating humming sound of some electrical device. And I guess it doesn't really matter where we sit on that spectrum, and some days may vary for us. We may find it easier on some days than others, and I do, we all do. That's just part of what mindfulness practice is. And whilst we would like to access this lovely feeling of calm, the way we get that is through tiny, tiny, tiny moments of presence, and practicing that on a regular basis. So repeatedly throughout one practice, coming back to whatever we're focusing on in a sensory way will enable those tiny, tiny, tiny moments of calm to almost string together so that we end up with a feeling of a bit more calm overall. And so whilst, as I mentioned, some people may have sensory numbness, they may be able to feel one leg and not the other, or they may be able to hear certain sounds and not others, or feel one foot and not the other, whatever it is. It doesn't matter whether you've got that or more of a sensory feeling of sensory overload, where all you can notice is kind of stuff going on in the background, and I can't be calm because all I can hear is irritating noises or feel irritating sensations. It doesn't matter where you are, because what mindfulness asks of us is just to notice whatever is going on right now for you, and just to accept it the way it is. And that is the practice. That is part of the practice. So bringing yourself back to whatever I'm going to be talking you through, just noticing how that feels for you, whether it's irritating or numb or pleasant. It might be really comforting and pleasant, and just accepting it for those few seconds for whatever it is. That is mindfulness. That is the beauty of mindfulness. It gives us that ability to not overreact to things in life, and we get that through practicing this in very tiny, tiny portions as we do a meditation practice. I hope that makes sense. So we're going to be doing a sensory perception practice, but to be perfectly honest, I always think these practices have different names, but really it's all about the same thing. It's about bringing our attention back repeatedly to the present moment. And it's absolutely fine if you find yourself lost in thoughts. We all do. I still do. We all do when we practice. But that is part of mindfulness. So please don't think you're doing it wrong if you feel like you're just lost in thoughts. Just do your best to hear what I'm saying and bring yourself back to the present moment. And let me just check. There was one other thing I wanted to say about that. Yeah, I think that's it really. Accepting without necessarily wanting to change anything. So that's also, it's something to practice, but accepting that we've got niggly knee pain and just sitting with it and going, yep, right now I've got niggly knee pain, whatever it is, and then moving on to whatever else you can notice. So that acceptance is also a big part of mindfulness. Okay, so I'd like to make a start, if that's okay. So settling in and remembering that this is your 15 minutes, your 15 to 20 minutes. And all you have to do is sit back and relax and allow your body and mind to unwind. So finding yourself where you can sit comfortably and closing your eyes gently if that feels comfortable. And if not, lowering your gaze. Remember, if your mind wanders during this exercise, that's absolutely fine. It's completely normal. And bringing yourself back and paying attention is what meditation is all about. So beginning just now by taking a few deep breaths and breathing in through the nose in your own time, and then more slowly out through the mouth at this point. So a few deep breaths in, filling your body with the breath, and then breathing out slowly through the mouth. Just repeating that, imagining your whole body filling up with air as you take a deep breath in, and then slowly breathing out in your own time. So as you breathe in, focus on your body filling with air. And as you breathe out, notice how your body softens a bit more each time. Letting go of any tension as your body breathes out. And then allowing the breath to return to its normal rhythm and breathing in and out through the nose again. So begin by focusing on the sensation of touch today. So the feeling of the body pressing down on the surface beneath you. Just notice if the weight falls evenly down through the center of the body, or whether you're leaning a bit more to the left or a bit more to the right. Doesn't matter, we're not trying to change anything necessarily, but just becoming aware of the weight sitting here, pressing against the surfaces that you're sitting on. And in the same way, noticing the sensations of the soles of your feet on the floor, wherever they're resting. Noticing where the point of contact is strongest. Is that in your toes, your heels, insides of the feet, the outside of the feet? Maybe you're pressing slightly more on the right foot or the left foot. And just noticing what's going on for you without necessarily wanting to change that. Just being curious about what you notice. Now, in the same way, noticing the weight of your hands and the arms. Your hands resting in your lap or on your legs, wherever they're resting. Again, noticing, is the right side more prominent, or the left side, or both about the same? And softening your arms and your hands as you do this. And just noticing you might be able to become aware of the fingers and the thumbs on one hand more than the other. You might notice temperature differences, or they might be about the same. No right or wrong, just becoming aware right now of what's going on for you. In the same way, I'd like you now to notice any sounds around you. Sounds are sometimes seen as an irritant or an obstacle to meditation, but in this exercise, I'd like you to make use of them. Bringing your attention for the next 10 or 20 seconds and noticing all the little sounds around you, no matter how seemingly pleasant or unpleasant they are. Just noticing what you can notice. And as best you can, being accepting of those sounds, just as sound. Remembering that when your mind wanders, that's completely natural. And just bringing yourself back to any of these sensory experiences. The reason that meditation induces calm and a sense of soothing is because we're able repeatedly to interrupt that flow of often very tiresome and sometimes stressful thoughts, which just flow through our mind like a stream, often unwelcome thoughts if we don't do anything about it. So meditation and mindfulness generally enables us just to put a little tiny dam in that stream for a very short few seconds and bring ourselves to a present moment awareness through any of our senses. And that injects a tiny bit of calm into the brain, into the mind. So gently bring your attention back now to the body. Notice how your body feels as you sit here. Normally we're so busy doing things and thinking things that we're not really aware of how our body feels. And to do this, if you choose, I'd like you to start at the top of your head and spend 20-30 seconds or so just scanning down the body and noticing any parts which may feel relaxed and comfortable and at ease, and any parts which may feel tense or tight. You don't have to do anything. It's just building up a picture of how the body feels right now. That's being accepting of that right now. As soon as you notice your mind wandering off, just bring yourself gently back to these physical feelings in the body. As you scan down, just noticing these pleasant sensations, as well as any areas of tension or tightness that you may be experiencing this morning. Just be curious about what you notice. And as we sit here, we are able to notice that the body breathes itself and creates this gentle rise and fall, sensation of expansion and subsiding. Now I'd like you to focus a bit more specifically on that rise and fall. So you may be noticing that in the belly area, the diaphragm, the chest, the collarbones, the shoulders, and also around the back of the body. Shoulder blades, upper back, lower back. Gentle expansion and falling away as we breathe very naturally in and out. So it doesn't matter where you notice it, just allowing your body to breathe naturally. Noticing where you notice that movement most strongly. Noticing that gentle, natural rhythm. And just becoming aware of whether your breath is long or short, deep or shallow. Again, it doesn't matter, there's no right or wrong. We're just being curious about what's going on for us right now. Noticing that lovely, gentle, relaxing rise and fall of the body as we breathe. Where do you notice the movement of the breath in the body? Where do you notice this rise and fall most strongly right now? Breathing in and breathing out. Bringing our attention to any of these sensory experiences here. Sitting here right now, in this moment. Once again, noticing any sounds around you, however small, just becoming aware of the soundscape around you once again. Bring your attention back to your physical senses, back to the body, sitting here, back to your immediate environment around you, back to the room that you're sitting in. Introducing some gentle movement in your fingers and toes if that feels comfortable. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and stretch. If you feel like it. So that was just a 15-ish sensory awareness practice. We looked at the senses in the body, the hands and the feet. We looked at the sounds. We looked at more senses in the body and the feeling of breathing in the body. So it's not all the senses, but it's some of the senses. It's the senses that we can access quite easily when we're sitting here doing the practice. So I hope you feel a little bit calmer after that. And it's now time to say goodbye. But thank you very much, all of you, as always, for coming along.